the uncle, the carbuncle, and the chef. We're here at Buterra's in Woodbury. If you've never been here, come here for lunch, come here for dinner, you'll be glad you did.
Thank you.
Today is all about your New York Metropolitans. Now let me say this. I'm going to introduce it, and then I'm going to turn it over to the blue and orange boys here. Tom Kiley, who's a casual fan of baseball, but he's a Mets fan, texted me a month ago saying how great the Mets are and the Dodgers are a joke. Said they were a joke. So we're going to talk about the Mets today. And I don't know where to start, to be honest with you, because the starting pitching, which carried them for 2 months through injury and ineffectiveness, has really gone down. And that's won out the bullpen, which was carrying them as well. And in terms of their lineup, the catcher that they thought they were going to get a lot of power from is in the minor leagues. The Vientos, who was the budding superstar, is, I don't know what he is. Now, I'm beginning to think last year was a flash in the pan, and this is what he is. The back half of that lineup can be pitched to very easily. So now, we're 4 weeks away from the trade deadline. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Chris. What do you guys think the Mets need to do, or what's the state of the Metropolitans?
Look, I don't think it's time to panic on this team yet. You know, they're a good baseball team. They've shown that. The MLB season's a marathon. It's not a sprint, you know? It would be unreasonable to think that the Mets would perform.
This is from a guy last year who, after a month, wanted to trade everybody.
Yeah. We squeaked in the playoffs and made a deep run last year. You know,
That's
this year we went into the year as one of the favorites in the National League.
Yes, absolutely.
And, you know, I still think we are one of those top 3 or 4 teams in the National League, and any of those will be in the mix, you know. Only 2 games back in the division right now. You know, the Mets obviously slipped a lot. I think they lost 4 out of their last 19 or something like that. Really bad, right?
Yeah,
but
bad.
only 2 games back. Just take a deep breath. I trust David Stearns, Steve Cohen. We're going to make moves at the trade deadline, maybe get a pitcher, and we'll be right back. I'm not worried yet.
And your boy Soto's starting to hit a little bit.
He's been one of the best players in baseball over the month of June.
Right.
You know,
Very
OPS
strong.
over 900 now.
But how ironic is it when he starts to hit, Lindor hits 204 for June.
Yeah. Look, that happens, you know.
Yeah.
If they could get all those guys clicking at once, dangerous lineup to get through. One guy I liked a lot this year is Brett Beatty. You know, he's been a league average hitter this year, right? Nothing special, but his defense has made big strides. It always seems like when Mark Vientos is not there, Brett Beatty plays well, but when Vientos is back, he kind of just flattens out.
Well, they're expecting Vientos to be what he was last year, and if that happens, that's a big plus.
He's coming. I mean, Vientos is injured. He got that injury on his hamstring. Yep. He was starting to show a little life right before that on that trip, but it's not good. But look at June. June was a bad month, but they were 3 games under 500 in June. So the first half was remarkable. Second half was terrible, right?
Yes.
So
It's
not it's what's trending is what is concerning, right?
Yes.
But I think, like Chris said, it's a long season. Let's see what happens. I think the pitching, you said it in one of your texts, friendly Met pokes here and there we get from Steve. We could always count on, some article, Mets in complete decline, One of them, though, I got to, pitching is coming back down to earth, which it has. They've also suffered a lot of injuries to that staff too. The front starters don't discount that too. Is that not just that they not suddenly are not performing as well.
Nope.
So that has to be addressed. But listen, I think that the East is still definitely winnable. The wild card is going to be a very competitive thing, with the West and the East. It's really, and the Cubs are strong. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to panic yet. It's very cyclical. They did have a team meeting, and it didn't really help them. I mean, they went into Pittsburgh, and that was just a complete.
Oh my goodness!
That was like a slaughter over there.
30-4.
Very happy to see them get rained out last night because it just kind of gave them an extra day after a day off. So let's see what happens. The Yankees, coming in this weekend is going to be big. Always is. So maybe that could spark it.
And the good news is that for your New York Metropolitans, that the Giants and the Padres have been in a free fall as well.
They have been. Yeah, that's true.
So that helps with the wild card.
They're in that week. They're playing in that week West.
Yeah.
You know who's over there?
I agree that
You
definitely
sound
helps.
like Tom Kiley. Tom Kiley.
I agree that definitely helps with the wild card, but like, go for the division.
Yeah, that's
Of course.
You're only 2 games back.
And it's
right
there,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, because the division. I mean, the wild card. That's won it last year. 3 games on the road. You know, when they won the division, they, or not won it, but they lost 3 games in the 3-game series to San Diego a few years back too. So it can go any way, but you'd rather much win the division for sure.
Yeah.
You know? I like Stearns. I think they're going to
I
make
do
some
too.
moves. They need a right-handed pitcher. I think they need some help. You know, something that's really not brought up. Winker. Out of that DH spot is huge. I think that he had really given them a little bit length in that lineup. A little, I don't know when he's coming back. I don't even know who is the lefty DH now for the team. They sent the other guy Young down, right? He was horrible. So those little things.
And that's another thing. The kids are not producing. Mauricio, I mean, I don't see anything from him, to be honest. He was so highly touted. I don't see it.
With Mauricio, the tools are there. 6'5", big guy, some of the fastest bat speed, exit velocities in baseball. His problem is he chases everything. You could throw him 3 curveballs in the dirt, he'll swing at every single one of them.
Yeah.
So I think you got to just develop him. He's still young. He's very young. He projects.
Think they brought him up too soon?
I think they did.
Especially he missed last year, right?
Because of injury,
Yeah.
He had a full ACL reconstructive surgery.
Okay.
And now he's back. Look, he hits the ball hard every time he makes contact. He hit a home run in Colorado. It might have been the furthest ball I've ever seen hit.
That
was a bomb.
And,
That was.
You know, I'm not down on him yet. He's still very young. If he could just stop chasing, he could be dangerous in the box.
Yeah, I love the way he looks. I mean, the guy is like he's really.
He looks like a ball player.
He does.
Passes the eye
He
test,
reminds me of the guy in the movie Major League, right? I forgot the character, but the big home run. He was knocking the fastballs, and they said, "All right, Shane, throw him the change up," and he couldn't get anything. But I think I like him. I think there's a future there with him.
Well, maybe a future down there with their catcher developing his tools. Because it's hard to learn at the major league level.
Yeah, the catcher is a disappointment.
Another thing on Alvarez, some of the other top prospects his age, he's been in the league, this is what, his 3rd year in MLB?
He's young.
The other top prospects that are his age are still in AA.
Right.
He's still very young.
But he had that rookie year that he whet everybody's appetite.
He did.
I mean, you had to expect you were going to get more from him.
I thought he'd be like a 20, 25 home run
He
guy.
sure
this
did
year.
look that way.
And, he's not, but that doesn't mean he won't be. Again, that doesn't mean he can't figure it out.
That's true.
Right. I think I give him a little time. I think catchers especially need a little bit more. But, I don't give up on him, certainly not yet.
Nope.
They did pick up another catcher, though, didn't they? Didn't they get someone, a defensive guy? Oh, gosh, who I just saw on the wire. I'm not sure who it was, but... as a backup, so I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I don't give up on Alvarez yet.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So let's talk hockey. No.
All right, real quick on the New York Yankees, who were in a bit of a free fall for a while, and now they're like a game and a half ahead of Tampa Bay and Toronto.
Yeah.
After Toronto blew them out last night.
Yeah, Toronto put it on them.
I think the Yankees have real trouble. I mean, they're starting pitching. If you're going to count on Stroman you got Fried and a bunch of guys, in my opinion.
Right.
Rodon's been very good as well, though.
Rodon's been a little spotty lately, though. He's had a couple of
Him, I don't
shady
trust. I
eyes.
don't trust. He's got great.
How could you trust him?
Look, I think the Yankees are in the same boat as the Mets. They're a good baseball team. We know they're a good baseball team, right? We know they're going to be competing in October in the playoffs. I wouldn't worry about them right now.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are in a better position than the Mets. They're also in a weaker league.
They are.
That makes it easier to get to the playoffs.
Outside of the Tigers, I mean, look, as a National League team going into the World Series, who really do you
Maybe
not
the
want to
Astros.
see besides the Tigers? Astros, you think?
Maybe the Astros.
Yeah, Astros got
Maybe,
hot.
yeah. They've been good.
They're like always there,
They are.
But No, I think the Tigers are really they're good, but
Scooble, he's
the Rays are always nasty, but they
Rays.
don't have enough to get over the line.
Go over the hump. Yeah, you're right.
Acuna's been
You're right.
outstanding since he's come
I
back.
know Acuna. I was at the game where the Mets lost to the Braves 3-2 at City, and I saw him hit that home run and do his little dance at
Yeah.
between shortstop. Yeah, the guys, it just kind of bothers me, you know. It just,
Does.
you
I
know.
agree.
And it was good that the next day, I think, who was it? Clay Holmes brushed him back.
Yeah.
You
Should
know.
have drilled him in the ribs.
They should. Next time up, he
Yeah.
should have gotten it.
I love it personally. If you hit a ball that far, you could dance all you want.
I don't. It's show like you've been there before. You
Yes.
know, have a little.
Act like you've hit a homer before.
Yeah.
It's his culture though. Look, in that Latin American baseball culture, that's how they play.
All right. Now I'll accept that side of the argument. It's not one that I think is it's not in the spirit I feel of good sportsmanship.
Exactly.
That's a fair point.
But people do it. I don't want to squash.
I was always thought, don't show up the other guy, because if you play long enough, you're going to be the other guy. You know. But anyway, anything else on the Mets or the Yankees?
I've had enough Mets talk.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Well, last year I remember the conversation. Load them up, throw everyone.
Trade everybody.
McNeil and his dumb bat, get rid of him.
Lindor, the big contract. Can we trade that? Yeah.
But no, I think Stearns is. We're in very good hands. So.
I think you are. I think you are too. And Uncle Stevie's not afraid to spend.
No.
So Stearns also has that in his back pocket.
Yeah.
All right, we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, we're caught up. We'll see how our New York Mets and New York Yankees do going forward. I'm the uncle.
Carball.
Chef.
See you next time.